to another Demarcation Media Blokees review. Today we have Galaxy version 02. This is called SOS. The last one was called Rollout. If you didn't see that review, link will be up in the corner. If you're not familiar with Blokees, Blokees is a line of Transformers model kits that basically are built similar to a Gundam, and the end result is similar to a Gundam or an action figure. So they do not transform. They are mainly bot mode, which I prefer. I think that a lot of the times the transforming Transformers tend to look pretty bad in bot mode, and I value aesthetic and posability of the bot modes over the gimmick of transforming. So these are pretty much perfect in my opinion. Huge thank you to Blokees for sending these to me for review. All of the thoughts expressed in this video are mine and not influenced by Blokees in any way. So let's go ahead and take a look at this box. This box is a bit different than the last one that I looked at. This is the last one real quick. You can see all black, mostly with purple and red. This is done for the 40th anniversary of the Transformers, so there's a little bit more going on. We got nice gradient. You get to see all of the figures there. There's the secret rare, or I guess it's not really secret when they show it, but Grimlock. And then this is really cool. I love the blue like grid in the background. Shattered Glass Optimus Prime front and center. Grimlock is also one of the big ones in this wave. And then StarScream holding what looks to be Megatron. That's so goofy. But I am looking forward to seeing that actually in person. So that's pretty simple. It is basically this is supposed to be a retail case. This is what you would see on a store shelf. So let's go ahead and get it open. It was a little fiddly last time to actually get it in its open form. So instead what I'm going to do this time is, there we go. The power of YouTube magic. We now have the case open. And I think this looks so cool. Like this would catch my eye so quick in a store. This is just brilliant. This is blind boxes, in case you didn't know. And so each one comes like this. This is metallic. This looks so much better than even the last one. So it's the last wave. And this has like the grid on the top and it's like metallic, which is super cool. We get to see Grimlock, so shiny looking. And then there's StarScream looking all smug. He's very smug. We get to see Grimlock around the back. Very nice. That's his transformed form. And then we get to see all the figures here. I will have built these live, so if you want to go and watch that, I'll put the card up in the corner. And we're going to take a closer look at all these guys because I am really excited for this. We have a lot of great characters here. And there is the entire wave all put together. If you didn't catch the stream, you can go and watch the replay. I highly recommend you do because there's a lot of fun in just building these guys. And this wave in particular has some more interesting builds like Grimlock, actually both Grimlocks, and then the Constructicons. Also, during the stream, I learned that the yellow dude and the red dude are not Constructicons because, as the name would suggest, Constructicons are only Decepticons. So, the more you know. I don't know if those guys have their own classification, because I am a casual Transformers fan, not a hardcore long-time fan. So forgive me if I get these things wrong. But hey, at least I learned that before the video was edited and released. So now I don't have to have you guys in the comments correct me. But if I do happen to say anything further incorrect, please do correct me in the comments. So without any further ado, let's go and look at the figures starting with the Constructicons. Starting off, we have Long Haul. Now, this is not one of the Transformers I'm super familiar with, and I honestly was not so sure about his design when I started building him and when I first saw him. I was like, I don't know. His head's kind of a weird shape. He's got this big rain hood over his head. I just don't know. He's also very bright green. He's very bright. But now that I have him built, he's actually one of my favorites from this wave. So I'm guessing he's a dump truck. Again, I'm not super familiar with the Constructicons, but he's got this piece here that can hinge back. You can see his head. His head has very much like this cube on the back, which does limit how posable he is. He still gets side-to-side rotation, but his up and down is very limited. However, I do like his faceplate. It's very Jaeger-esque, so I think that's pretty cool. That can hinge back up. His shoulders have his big wheels on them, which I think looks awesome. He's got some printing on his chest and on the body underneath, as well as on his groin piece. And his legs have some really interesting sculpting. He has no weapons, just right off the bat, but he poses pretty darn well. His shoulders really don't get in the way all that much. And again, he just looks pretty nice. Like, from all angles, he looks really nice. The geometry of the pieces specially made for him, it's really good. So, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of his design when I first saw him, but Blokees, you have convinced me. Long haul is cool. Now, MixMaster, on the other hand, I needed no convincing that he was cool. His helmet is awesome. It's very sinister. It looks almost like not Transformers with how sleek and cool it is. It also stands out a lot against his bright colors. He's also a bit of the invert of Long Haul because he's got a purple torso and green arms as opposed to Long Haul's purple arms and green torso. So I think that's kind of cool. And then he's got even more print on the chest and then some on the groin again. He's got both his little wheels on each shoulder. And then he is a mixer truck, which I guess MixMaster makes sense. And so we've got part of that back here, a little bit of yellow printed in there. This like hollow part of the piece looks a little eyesore-ish, but not too bad. And overall, he just looks super cool. Again, very bright colors, but I don't know. I kind of like it. I would love to see these guys with a wash, and maybe I'll do that myself sometime. But they do look really nice. And again, this guy's head is fantastic. It gives me like Hero Factory vibes or Bionicle vibes. Actually, yeah, more Bionicle vibes, to be honest. Like, that looks almost like one of the villains' heads, like a Skrull, perhaps. So, pretty cool, and he's pretty intimidating for such bright colors. So yeah, I needed no convincing that he was cool, and it was just confirmed having him in hand. He's just really cool. During my build stream of the Galaxy version Wave 1, there was a lot of people asking, where's StarScream, where's StarScream? Because the Wave came with Thundercracker and Skywarp, but no StarScream. Well, here is StarScream.
Megatron has fallen! StarScream, am now your leader. Decepticons, follow me!
And the first thing I want to point out is that he comes with Megatron. That is the Megatron gun. That is so cool. I would usually save the accessories and look at them all later, but you kind of have to build this onto him. So it's like two pieces here, a handle that pegs in, and then this like top part. Very long and awkward looking without being in the hand, but it's so funny to me that they actually included Gun Megatron with StarScream. That's just bravo, Blokees. That's hilarious. That makes this figure so much more fun. So you're technically getting two figures in one. For now though, let's actually just take that from him so that we can get a look at StarScream himself. And he looks fantastic. He's got even more detail than the previous two Seekers. He's got printing on his shoulders, all kinds of print for his chest. His head is different. He's got a different face than the other two Seekers. He's got a bit of a smirk, and his eyes are a bit darker. He's also got print down on his lower legs as well. Around the back, you can see the Decepticon logos, which is awesome. And then there's more additional print. Overall, he's StarScream. You need him if you want a well-rounded Transformers collection because, come on, it's StarScream. So, yeah. The colors are great. I love this shade of blue. And his arm cannons can be articulated so that he can shoot. Well, he could shoot, I guess, Autobots, or he could just shoot Megatron. Either one, depending on his mood that day. Next up, we have the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. This dude, if you don't know, he's from the universe where the Autobots are actually evil and the Decepticons are good and trying to stop the tyrannical Optimus Prime from taking over everything. And this Optimus Prime looks very sinister. He's got the purple as the base color and then the green varying shades of green. He also has more decoration on him and print work than the standard release Wave 1 Optimus Prime. So he's got the printing for the forehead, and then he's also got gray in the vents part of his legs, which I think looks really nice. I wish the standard release for Wave 1 had it. The secret version has it, but not the standard release. He's also got the printing on his arms and his shoulders. He's only got one emblem on those shoulders. Around the back, no print, but you can see there's some nice molded detail. My only complaint with this guy is mine came with his eyes printed a little bit wonky. It's not horrible, but it's just enough to be like, oh, that's a little strange if you look at him up close. I do like Blokees' kind of tradition of putting a Optimus Prime of some sort in every wave. So the first one was Optimus, the second one is Shattered Glass Optimus, third is a recolor to be Ultra Magnus in his like Optimus look, and then we're getting a Nemesis in Wave 4. So I think it's like a really solid mold, and I mean, it's Optimus. He's basically the Master Chief of the Transformers universe, so the same way Mega does a Master Chief in like every wave, Optimus coming in every wave makes sense. I know not everyone loves that, but I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, great figure, really nice color scheme. Grapple is an Autobot I really know nothing about. He's clearly some sort of crane, but that's about the extent of my knowledge. And he looks a little goofy to me, to be honest. The leg print is really cool, and these lower legs are a bit taller than the other ones, so these guys stand a bit taller. But these like neck bits limit posing a bit, not too much, but I think it just looks a bit strange. Chest print is nice. There is no print on the shoulders or anything, but I mean, he's fine. I don't see anything wrong. You can bring the thing up and over. His hook can hang in his face. I guess that's where his Grapple name comes from. Yeah, he's just, I don't really know much about him, and he's not hugely interesting to me, but I think Blokees did him well based on the art that I've seen of this character. So yeah, solid. If you like and know Grapple, I mean, this is a great figure. If you don't know him, like me, he might just be a little bit goofy. Inferno uses most of the same parts, same chest and everything. The back piece is basically the same. You just have extra bits added onto the sides and then a ladder instead. He's also got like a gun arm, or maybe that's a hose arm since he's a fire truck. I'm not sure. But yeah, he's a bit like, again, kind of derpy. He doesn't have the print on his lower legs, but you can see the molding there. He's just one of those Autobots I'm like, it's just kind of goofy. I don't really know much about him, so he's not super interesting to me. However, you can use him to make a more accurate Ironhide. So Ironhide from the Wave 1 did not have red lower arms. Here you go. Here's red lower arms. You could pop those onto Ironhide, and ta-da, Ironhide is now G1 accurate. So I think that gives this guy a little bit of extra value. You might want to get two, so you can have some for pop and swaps. I may not know Grapple or Inferno, but I sure do know this little guy. It's my boy Cliffjumper. I used to have a Bayverse Cliffjumper figure way back when that first came out. It was basically just the Camaro of Bumblebee recolored to red, and I thought he was so cool because it was like, it's Bumblebee but red, and I thought that was awesome. Seeing him here, this is a design I'm less familiar with, but he looks fantastic. My biggest complaint right off the bat is I would have liked to see some print down on the lower legs just to spice that up a little bit, but it's not bad. I've heard people saying that they should have used the Bumblebee feet on him. Maybe, but he was made before they did that. He's a little bit shorter than the other Autobots, which is appropriate. And his face is really well done. His helmet's really well molded. And gosh, is he angry. He is ready to like rip some heads off. Look how angry he is. The chest print is fantastic. And he's got some print around the back, including a tire. Well, that's not really a print. It's actually a whole separate piece. But yeah, the print and then the tire. This dude reminds me of those missions from the like Fall of Cybertron games where you're basically Metal Gear Cliffjumper. I think that's the memes that I've heard, where it's like sneaky Cliffjumper and Jazz. And so I'm really happy to be able to put them two together. I think they're a great team, and I think that was like awesome. I would love to see Blokees do the like Fall of Cybertron designs, but for now, this suits perfectly well, and he is going to be paired up with Jazz from here on out. And now, the star of this wave, Grimlock. Grimlock has a bunch of pieces that are like basically made just for him. His lower legs are taller, makes him more chunky. He's got print there. He's got print on his arms. Look at that chest plate. He's got print there. His head looks fantastic. His shoulders look awesome. Around the back, you can see his little dino arms like folded out, and those can be articulated if you want to. The shoulders are great. They really don't get in the way at all. And then he's got a double barrel like blaster. And again, I would have put this in with the accessories that we'll look at in a bit, but I wanted to bring the Dino mode, who takes up another figure slot, in at the same time, so you can see that they use basically all the same parts, or a lot of the same parts. You see the shoulders, look, those are the leg joints. The torso is the same under there. There's the gun. You can see the arms. That's just that whole assembly that's on his back, just folded up. So I thought that was really cool. The reuse of parts, while he doesn't transform, it gives the impression that perhaps he could. So that's really cool. Bot mode Grimlock is fantastic, very imposing. Dino mode Grimlock is very small and very cute. He's kind of adorable. Look at that little head. Those eyes are a separate piece. The mouth can open and he can give his little roar. There's a peg spot for you to put fire in if you were to get the secret Grimlock. That's like the metallic version. His little arms can move. His little hands can move. He's got some posability in his legs, a little bit in the feet, so he can get some decent stances. He's got some rotation here, as well as some forward and back, and then he's got some rotation here. His head can move up and down. And then, of course, he's got the gun on the back. And then you can rotate his tail a little bit like that. So he's perhaps a bit smaller than he should be, but I think that just makes him more cute. So I'm not necessarily opposed to that. The bot mode can do the big intimidating stuff. This can just look cute on your shelf. And he's pretty fun to pose too. I would say the joints are perhaps a little looser than I would want, but that kind of goes for a lot of the Blokees figures. I often would want them to be slightly tighter than they actually are straight out of the box. Tiny robot dinosaur. Why would you not want tiny robot dinosaur? Also, if you really wanted to, you could pop the gun off there, and then you can have him dual wielding these double cannons. So that'd be pretty cool. You could also pop it to his arm like that. Obviously, you'd probably want to switch it around so it's on the outside of his arm, but that's just something you can do. Or you could pull a Hero Factory and pop the two together. That's actually kind of cool. So yeah, there's just a lot of possibilities there. And I think, again, the fact that they used the same pieces across the two is just really smart. That way, number one, they could save on some budget, and number two, they could actually make it look like, they are transformed. I think this is probably the one everybody's going to want out of the whole wave. I wanted Cliffjumper, but I think majority of people will want to get this little guy because he's really cute. Yeah, they did a good job with him. Now let's look at accessories. So every figure comes with a Blokees stand. These can be fit together, I think just by sliding it. Yeah, you just slide them together and you can basically make yourself a little display rack, which is pretty cool. There's also a bunch of peg holes, which I'm assuming are for flight stands. None of these have come with flight stands yet, but who knows what we could see in the future. We have a blaster for Evil Optimus. This is a darker gray than the last version. Every figure includes one of these little circles. Now, I believe these are in the Chinese releases. I don't know if they will be in the US releases once Blokees gets them on their site. But yeah, you get this little thing. There is a QR code if you want to scan that. But that's pretty cool. A little bit of extra collectability. There's not much you can do with it, but it's just kind of cool. Every figure also gets fist hands and open hands, so you can have those two on every single figure. Every single figure also gets a couple of these faction markers. Those can be pegged into their arm peg holes. Grimlock and Cliffjumper both come with ice cubes, Energon cubes. These are pretty cool. These are empty Energon cubes, and there's just like a little bit of texturing on the inside there. So you get a 5 total for the whole wave, which is pretty nice. Those are nice little extra pieces, and they really do look like ice cubes. MixMaster comes with this arm-mounted little radar thingamajig. It's kind of interesting. He has no weapons, but he has this little arm-mounted radar. It's got some nice molding on it. So that's pretty cool. And then Long Haul comes with this. This is a welding gun, I believe. And the instructions say it's most often used by Autobots to repair and whatnot. So it's a little strange that Long Haul's got it, but that just can peg into the arm. You can rotate it so it's either that way or that way. And then it can also articulate a little bit, which I think kind of looks weird, but, you know, I don't know how else they would have had it on there. But yeah, so that's a nice little accessory. Again, not really a weapon, but he can go and weld some stuff. I feel like this would go well on Ratchet. And then we have Cliffjumper's pistol. That handle, I think, is a bit long, but it looks pretty nice. It looks like a Han Solo pistol a bit. It's a little smaller than the previous pistols that we've seen. So I think it's nice to see a different pistol design. And then the last accessory is a rocket-mounted missile launcher.
Watch those wrist rockets!
For Grapple. Again, I feel like, I don't know, this is a little strange. I think that the Decepticons should have had the wrist rocket, and then this guy maybe should have had the welder thing, or the radar, but I don't know. He's now able to be more aggressive. He's got that wrist-mounted thing, and you can put it on any of the Transformers that you really want to have it. So I think that's a really cool little accessory. I think that's probably the coolest of the little bonuses in this whole wave. Well, there you have it. That is Blokees Galaxy version Wave 2. I guess this is specifically called Wave 2 SOS. The first one was Rollout. This is SOS. If you are not a Blokees fan, or if you have not tried any Blokees figures, I think that you're missing out. If you're a Transformers fan, honestly, even if you're not a Transformers fan, I would recommend just getting one or two of these because they're just really fun. Very solid to pose, very fun to put together. The end results look really good. You could easily paint or customize these, pop and swap them. There's just a lot of possibilities. After I reviewed a bunch of these, I may go through and start trying to make my own customs because there's just a lot that you can do. This wave is really solid. Grimlock looks fantastic. Long Haul and MixMaster are also great. StarScream, very high quality, very well done. Cliffjumper, definitely my favorite from the wave. He's perhaps a bit more simple in terms of the printing, but he still looks really good. And then, of course, Shattered Glass Optimus. Grapple and Inferno are like, they're fine. I just don't really know them, and I think they look a little goofy, but they're still well made. Highly recommend. I know that Blokees is working to get these on their official site, but I don't believe they're up yet, at least as of the time of the recording of this video. So there will be links in the description and in the pinned comment if you want to go get yourself some of these. I would honestly recommend just buying a whole case because all of these figures are good and worth it, but you can also buy them just in separate blind boxes. But if you do buy a case, you're guaranteed to get one of each figure. You're just not guaranteed to get the secret. I have not gotten the secret figure for either Wave 1 or Wave 2, but we'll see. Maybe Wave 3 or 4 I'll end up with the secret. My only real complaint that I've had so far is just the joints seem kind of loose, more loose than I would want on average. And then Prime had the funny prints for the eyes. Other than that, though, they've been very high quality. I haven't had any major complaints beyond that. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.